Welcome back everyone, and if you're new here, welcome to the village. This is episode 3 of our Banished playthrough where survival, strategy, and a little bit of luck will decide the future of our town. I have a little something special today, so stick around because I'll be giving away a free Steam code for Banished to one of you so you can test your own survival skills. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help the channel and our community grow, and so you don't miss out on a chance to receive a free copy of the game. Let's jump in.
Alrighty, here's our town. We went through a pretty big population crisis. As you can see up here, we've got 7 adults, 4 children. A couple of people reached out to me and told me that even if we do dip really low in population, that we're actually able to have immigration. I know in the last video I talked about it a little bit, and that I said that there wasn't immigration in this game. Well, I was actually wrong. There is immigration in the game. All you have to have, from what it seems like, is you have to have a town hall, a market, and a trading post. And every 4 years, you'll have the opportunity to attract nomads to the village. And those nomads will be adults, and they add labor. But the other thing that you have to think about when you're taking in these immigrants to your village is that that's more mouths to feed. So if you're already struggling for food production like I am right now, then it might not be a great idea to actually accept these recommendations. I also was told that if I have a crop field, I can do a 15 by 8, and that's the maximum size that of field that a person can solo work and still get maximum yield. So I was looking around the village a little bit, and right now what it really seems like we need to do is just kind of let our population regrow back to what we need it to be. So we'll be back once our population is kind of stabilized and we have enough people to go around and actually start finishing the construction projects that we've started. So far what we've done is we've went around and paused construction on every building that we have coming up, except for our blacksmith. We're going to prioritize so that way we can start creating tools for our workers to be able to use so their production gets increased. We're out of wood, so we went ahead and put our laborers back into the workforce. So we took builders off because we're not building anything, and put them in as laborers, so they'll go around and cut down these trees and all the stuff that we need to be able to construct these buildings in the future. Plus we're going to need wood for next winter, and the next laborer that we receive, we will go ahead and put them on the wood cutting, so that way we'll have a stockpile of firewood for the next winter. Hopefully this crop field will get harvested in time, and we'll have enough people to be able to, enough food to be able to sustain our population for the winter. So a couple of things to pay attention to, especially when you're playing your playthroughs, is to notice like when the children are being born, right? So we just had 3 children born in spring and summer of year 6. Now that means once those children become of age, they will all come of age around the same time to become laborers. So that means I know in the future now, at one point I'm about to have 3 additional laborers to be able to assist with working around the village and doing other things. Right now we're sitting at 8 children and 9 adults. We don't have a schoolhouse yet, so we don't have any students. The good thing about once we have this schoolhouse up and running is that educated citizens will then be able to produce more goods efficiently, right? So they get kind of like a production boost to them once they've become educated. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and cancel removal of resources, just so that way I can kind of micromanage what I have my guys starting to remove. So I'm going to have them remove all the trees in this area because we really need wood. We'll go ahead and throw this laborer on chopping wood, because we're going to need it for the winter that's coming up. All these guys are already currently cold, and we're completely out of wood, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop a farmer off, keep him as a laborer, so this guy can start cutting down these trees, bringing them over to the woodcutter, and the woodcutter can start getting to work. We'll need the logs to stay warm. Snow's already falling, and the crops are already dying, and we don't have anybody out here with tools to be able to harvest these crops for us right now. It looks like we're going to be struggling pretty hard until this blacksmith gets produced. So while our guys are working, we can go ahead and look over at our stats right now. We have a pretty high happiness level considering the amount of deaths and the amount of hunger and the amount of cold that we have going on in our town, as well as our average health of our citizens. It's about half, right? So that's another thing that can be a real population decliner is when people start getting sick. If you don't have any type of hospitals or herb gathering areas set up, your citizens will get sick, they'll spread their sickness, and then they'll start dying as well. We're still running into this population issue where all of our people are dying of starvation, but since we're about to have this blacksmith up, we'll be able to create tools, and then by then our production will increase and we'll be able to even out this food shortage that we're constantly having. So we've went ahead and unpaused all of the production on all of our buildings that we've had paused, except these two bridges here. Our trading post has finally come up. We'll start working the trading post later. Our forester lodge has come up, so we now have one forester set to cut and plant in this radius. Our farms look like they're doing pretty solid work right now. And it looks like our food is just constantly going up. We're having more laborers come into the workforce. We're having more children being born. So far, so good. Everything's looking nice. So we may have spoke a little bit too soon. We had to go back and repause all the buildings because I started to notice that the health of our citizens is dropping rapidly. So we've got our herbalist coming up over here. All we need is some logs and stone for that. Shouldn't be too hard to gather. And then, once we have that, our health should go back up. We'll focus on the hospital next, just in case any diseases start to break out. We went ahead and reactivated this field with 3 workers, and then these ones both with 1 worker each, because our food is starting to drop again. We're starting to have a bunch of citizens born, becoming adults, and all that good stuff. So it's kind of a trade-off. It's something you gotta balance constantly in this game, is the food production and the amount of people, population control. You don't want to have too many people and not enough food, and then too much food and not enough people, because then you're not getting any work done. It's just a little balancing act that you kind of have to always pay attention to while you're playing a game like this. So Banished, other similar games. Most city builders don't really have that mechanic of the food balance and stuff like that. You have city skylines, right? So city skylines 1, city skylines 2, you're managing other things such as economic, like your money, income, and all that good stuff. With this game, there's not really a monetary system where you're receiving income and you're trying to maintain. You have to use actual money to buy buildings. Here you're just using resources, so it's more in depth of an economic system realistically, because you now have to gather resources, and each building takes multiple resources instead of just paying a dollar amount to build and construct buildings and maintain your city. You're actually constantly fighting the battle of, do I have enough resources? Am I producing enough goods? Am I producing enough tools? Do I have enough people to maintain what I need? And stuff like that. While we were talking there, you can see we're having another food crisis where we're having a bunch of people start dying of starvation again. But we're running into the harvest now, so we should be bouncing back from that fairly well, because we're having this field get harvest, this field get harvest, this field get harvest. And another thing too is, right, you can see visually that these crops aren't fully grown, and they're harvesting the ones that are fully grown. So they went down and they planted each row individually. So by the time they get done harvesting these crops over here and they start working to these ones that aren't fully grown yet, they will be grown further, which will increase our yield as well. So if we look here, we just got our first wandering trader in. A merchant has arrived at the trading post. So right now they have all of these things that we're able to buy here. We go to the trade section. So it has a cost associated with what the item is. And then each inventory that we decide to stock the trading post with will have a cost to it as well, right? So right now we don't have any inventory here, but if we did, we would see these in our side over here. So this is the merchant's side, and then this is the village's side. And each of them would have a value associated with it. And since these cost 2,500, we would then have to match this trade window over here with the cost of this. Now, since we've met this trader before, we can actually go through and order multiple things from them now. So like this is a seed merchant, so now since we've met him, We can actually order any seeds that we want from him now. So we have a pretty big cut right here. So we had a couple of food shortages, a couple of population declines, but so far pretty much everything has been constructed completely. We have the trading outpost going, we have fishing, we have farming. We removed the farm here and kind of constructed a little town center with stone roads, a well in the center, you know, just for the people to walk around. Kind of like a little park area, you know, provide a little bit of leisure to the citizens of Wrightville. We increased our 15 by 8 farms over here. We're running 2 people per, just so that way we can harvest quicker and they can get back to becoming laborers and removing trees, moving resources, and all that good stuff. Additionally, we added another neighborhood over here. So we have a bunch more houses. We've got our population increasing steadily. We now have 44 children. Our schoolhouse is up, so we have the ability to have students, which will then overall increase our efficiency. So far, we have 26 children now, 1 student, 44 adults and laborers. We have our quarry up here going. We have our mine up here going. We're getting coal because we kind of have a surplus of iron right now as it sits. So we're sitting at 125 iron. We're producing coal so that our blacksmith can create steel tools, which will then increase our efficiency for work. We have our gatherer's hut going just as an extra food source. We have our hunter's cabin going, which reminds me, I'm actually going to remove this hunter's cabin. We'll have another gatherer's hut over here, and since we have our forester over here and they're going to be replanting trees in this general area, it makes the most sense to keep our hunting cabin and our herbalist and our gatherer to be over here, just because that's going to be the wooded area. We have our church to increase our villagers' happiness. We also have a cemetery, so we've lost 2 people since the cemetery has come up. We still have our market over here. And all of our farms are going. We're sitting at 4,650 food, so we finally have that sorted out. But what just happened is we had an outbreak of mumps, right? So good thing we already had our hospital going. We have a doctor working, and we have 1 patient. So right now, you can see right here, these are citizens with diseases. Click here to select to cycle through them, right? So we have one of our farm workers, which I don't think is really a good idea for them to be tending the farm or all of the village's food supply comes from, but you got to do what you got to do. But that person is seeing the doctor that we have at the hospital. We added more woodcutters over here, which we're actually going to get them to start working due to going into winter, and we're not going to have enough firewood. Because right now we're actually out of firewood now, but we have a lot more houses and a lot more people to take care of, so we need more firewood to keep them warm during the winter times. Overall, we're actually looking good now as a town. We're looking pretty established. We have the ability to get nomads too. I think that this is a requirement for nomads, is this boarding house. If you keep people in the boarding house too long, they do lose happiness. I'm pretty certain about that. But we have our boarding house over here. We have a trading post. We have our town hall. This is where you would go to see if there are any nomads requesting citizenship. You also get a notification if there's any nomads requesting citizenship, so you can easily just pop over here, accept or deny. It'll tell you the amount of nomads that are coming in. So if you're running low on food, you're having food shortages and stuff like that, probably best to deny them, just so that you don't have those extra mouths to feed. So here is an overview of our town so far. So we've got our farms down here to the southwest. We've got another storage barn, a little neighborhood for the farmers to live. We have another neighborhood that came up on the east side. Up here in the northeast, we have our quarry and our mine. Over here to the north, we have, along this river, we have our industrial area. So we'll have our blacksmith, tailor, woodcutter, another woodcutter, and we're going to have 1 more woodcutter over here for the time being. Another storage barn for food, stockpile for resources. We have our boarding house for all the extra people that we have that don't have homes yet. We have another storage barn over here, stockpile. We have our fishing dock and our trading outpost up here to the north. Cemetery with our church right next to it. We have our schoolhouse over here so our citizens can get educated. Gatherer's hut, this is going to get moved over here to the far west where our forest area is. So we have our herbalist over here, our hunting cabin, and we have our forester lodge. We're going to move the gathering hut somewhere over here so it just makes a little bit more sense for it to be in the woods gathering resources from the forest. And then we have our town center with a well. We have our town hall. We have our hospital, and we have our marketplace. What we're actually going to do while we're still here is we're going to remove this well, and we'll add a couple more houses here just to have our population density in the town center area a little bit higher. We're going to expand this row of housing this way, and we'll have another row of housing right here. And that's where we'll wrap up episode 3 of our Banished journey. Thanks so much for watching and help our little village survive another day. Don't forget, I'm giving away a free Steam code for Banished, so one of you can start building your own survival town. For a chance to win, make sure you're subscribed, like the video, and drop a comment below. Also, if you go back and like and comment on episode 1 and 2 as well, you'll boost your chances of winning the code. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in episode 4. Let's see if we can keep this village thriving.